You'd not believe it at all. You wouldn't believe it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Wednesday, the 16th of September, 2020. It's proclamation news and gatherance at its finest hour. At its finest hour. It's almost 4 p.m., ladies and gents. Proclamation news and gatherance. It's with the prodigious, the prominent professor. Today, it's a hard border. Brexit was supposed to form a hard border in politics. We all thought Brexit was going to put up the hard border. Doesn't seem so. Doesn't seem likely so. Doesn't seem likely so. I've been watching Nigel Farage this morning. He's on. Nigel Farage is on the English channel. I thought he was fishing out with his friend. Watched the video. He's sitting there. He's watching the French. They're bringing. I think they're from Afghanistan. Illegal immigrants over from France. They bring them over from France. The French pilot is bringing over illegal immigrants. They're going to come over to UK, come in as illegal immigrants. Then they're going to get put in army barracks, and then they're going to get fed, watered, and then become legal citizens like one of us. What happened to Brexit? What happened to the our border? That's what I'd like to know. Not only that, right? If we're not allowed at gatherings more than six, I'm assuming they're coming over in groups of 12. No COVID mask. I mean, if that is us, soon we get off the boat, we get a fine. So not only they get put up in military accommodation, they're going to get legal, illegal citizenship in the UK. I mean, I'm all for not being fascist towards other ethnicities, but I'm really up against it with population growth. What I want to know is, what I want to know is more than anything else. Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage is. I mean, we've seen him drive off when this time last year he drove off. A man had an accident on the motorway with a child in the car. He drove off, saw the incident over his shoulder. So he's doing something very courageous today. As the friends were coming over, he's about I don't know about 400 yards away on his boat. He said, "Excuse me, what do you think you're doing?" I don't think the guys answered back. I don't think they just carried on driving their dinghy across the shore, landing on the shore, the stone shore. You heard him say it yesterday. He's out there today in the English Channel. Where are the people in the watchtowers? Where are the people in the watchtowers? Where's the police echoing through from the watchtower saying, yes, we have foreign foreign people coming into our soil. We need to go and check, see what it is. They could have air rifles, they could have anything on that boat. They're not even checking to see what's coming in. And without a COVID mask. It's ludicrous. If we was to go to, I don't know, Antwerp, Italy, you get a COVID test straight away. And I don't reckon you'd be able to get there as a legal immigrant, get taken in by foreign police. What is happening to the UK today? I don't know if you guys appreciate my news and things I outline. These things are not getting put through LBC and other things, well, other radios. We have different sources, source reference. We get a fun bench politics we talk about. I talk about all different scenarios. I'm not like LBC. I want to be the same sort of coverage as LBC. Don't get me wrong, we all do. We all want to be a millionaire, but the way we get there is the way we gather our news. If people think it's a substantial amount of good evidence, hard evidence, which it is, always is. You know it is. I come here religiously, methodically every day. Well, majority of days, unless it's holiday, I'm sick. I've been studying since 8 o'clock this morning. Um, Obviously, you know my social skills are pretty on board with the produce I bring, the Flux News daily. But anyway, what is happening with these watchtowers? Why aren't these people at watchtowers doing their job? I know everyone's asked COVID-19, let's not do our job properly, but please lift your head up, see what's in front of the ocean. People could be coming in, rocket launchers, blowing up our cities with their children in, their families in. But population growth is a big thing. It's not the first illegal immigrant coming over either. It's been happening the last few days. They're getting in before the hard border goes up. People dying, more people coming in. I don't know if it's some must be communicating. Maybe Afghanistan families are saying, "Quick, come over before the hard border comes up." Who knows? We don't know the ins and outs of a duck's doodle, do we? I'm still keeping it children friendly. All those have got child restrictions off because I want us to get monitorised and pushed out there a bit quicker. I'm trying to see which way works better. I never always mind my P's and Q's, as all you listeners know. I appreciate coming in. Feel free to share and subscribe. Like my content if you think it's proportionate enough to your standard of knowledge as well. Anyway, we're going to start off no business like show business. That is a big thing about the hard border. Obviously, we're still trying to get some decree with the Brexit. The got Brexit international laws and the WTO. I think WTO is World Trade Organization. I'm not sure. At a hazard of a guess, I don't really follow it substantially. All the different treaties we've got in play and what one we'll go with. All I know is I wanted Brexit because we stick to our own produce. If we go to the EU, we get the chlorinated American meat. That's all. They're the sort of things I look at. It's our health and nutrition. I don't look at the economic side of things too much because I'm in an economic crisis. It doesn't matter how knowledgeable I am. I'm in an economic crisis. It doesn't matter how much legacy I've got behind me. I'm in an economic crisis. I have to live with it. I've got children, but that's for the way it is at the moment. Anyway, ladies and gents, thank you all for coming through. Really appreciate it. If you can subscribe, you listen to Castbox. If you're listening on YouTube, please subscribe. No business like show business. That is, I like to do my own initiative for the first 10. I have my own, my own taste of politics. It's called emphasising. No point in me being absolute populism on YouTube. Politics. I mean, women watch waffle on TV, don't they? They watch a lot of waffle. Politics is a lot of waffle to anyone really, anyone, because you can watch one bit of politics and think, uh, it's like one big pantomime. Really, it is like one big pantomime. We're all buying it. We're all selling a good story. We've all got a good initiative because we read, sufficiently and depict the words and what they mean. There's no point me saying a fascist if I don't know what it means. There's no point me saying extremist if I don't know what it means. You know, I've got a great guillotine because I write notes as I go, as and when I go. So I know what I'm talking about. I always say it's bona fide conservatism, and it always is because it's always genuine. It's always traditional. It's always source reference from where I get my media. It's always broadsheet. I wouldn't say I'm tabloid because I'm very emotive. I keep going. I keep going till I've had enough, and I call that broadsheet. Broadsheet knowledge, deep south within politics. Anyway, showbiz. No business like show business. Stone Me. Amanda Holden has a Sharon Stone moment as she uncrossed her legs in a mini dress. My goodness, what a lavish woman, a ravishing woman, should I say. Lady of the surpassing beauty, absolutely full of elegancy. And she's 49. She looks absolute wonder. She looks better and younger than my first ever girlfriend when I was 18. No, I'm only joking. The Heart Breakfast presenter, 49, nearly gave fans an eyeful in a move. That was reminiscent of the famous scene from film Basic Instinct. In a boomerang on Instagram, Amanda is wearing a leopard print dress with her legs crossed. I must admit, at my older age, I'm a bit more into more mature women. I used to mess about with no, I don't. What I was about to say come across a bit wrong there. Become a sound like Jimmy Savile on radio present. No, I don't mean like that. But when I was in my 30s, I was going out with a 26-year-old. So I just want to, I want to refine what I was about to say there. I could get flying off the end of a bus here. My goodness. Bleeding lovely inside Simon Cowell, LA Mansion. He bought from Leona Lewis for 3.7 million. Take a look around the stunning Californian property. The mogul acquired from singer Leona Lewis for a hefty price, but sold at 199,000 loss. Jack Stan, Jacka Joza, looks incredible as she shows off tan legs on Brighton Beach. Jacqueline Lossa looked sensational as she showed off her perfectly tan legs in a green mini dress on Brighton Beach. I'm just, I like to give a bit of show business. It's a bit of one for politics is usually a gentleman's sport. I know we do get some sophisticated women like it politics, but it's a bit more of a not an eyesore, but gives yourself a bit of a imagination before we get into UK politics. The soaring looks of absolute beauties. There you go, fellas, ladies. If you're looking elegant this summer, I've just given you a bit of detail, maybe what to do in the near future. Anyway, Barbados to remove Queen Elizabeth as head of state. Queen Elizabeth, she is a she's a wondrous woman, isn't she? She's very very how do you say it? How do you say the word? How can we say that? You know, she's very very I don't know. She's unique in her old age, isn't she? She's very presentable. Aristocratic attitude. When we listen to her speak at Christmas, it you know has your hairs down on end. You think, wow, this woman is a powerful woman. People like to call them figureheads. No, she's a powerful woman. She's got the whole world standing in front of the TV Christmas Day. On her main speeches, when they had their weddings and things, she always the one at the front row giving her speech. A bit like Queen Elizabeth the First when she ordered her soldiers in such a way to, you know, make them think they're doing something great for our country. And that's a big, big influence, isn't it, for our country? Barbados has announced their intention to move Queen Elizabeth as its head of state and become a republic. The time has come to fully leave our colonial past behind, the Caribbean island nation's government said. It aims to complete the process in time for the 55th anniversary of independence from Britain in November 2021. A speech written by Prime Minister Mia Mottley said Barbadians wanted a Barbadian head of state. This is the ultimate statement of confidence in we are, and who we are, and what we are capable of achieving. The speech read. I mean, you can't argue with that, can you? You can't argue they want someone from Barbados to run their empire. Anyway, Buckingham Palace said that this was a matter from the government and the people of Barbados. A source at Buckingham Palace said that the idea was not out of the blue and has been mooted and publicity talked about many times. Royal correspondent Johnny Diamond said Barbados key facts. One more populous and prosperous Caribbean island gained its independence from Britain in 1966. Elizabeth remains a constitutional monarch. Once heavily dependent on the sugar exports, its economy has diversified into tourism and finance. Ah, that's probably a cheap holiday's gone to Barbados now. Its Prime Minister is Mia Mottley, elected in 2018 and the first woman to hold the post. The statement was part of the throne's speech, which outlined the government's policies and programmes ahead of the new session of Parliament. While it is read out by the Governor General, it is written by our country's Prime Minister. The speech also quoted a warning from El Bao, Barbados Prime Minister, after it gained independence, who said that the country should not loiter a colonial premises. He is not the only voice of Barbados that has been suggesting a move away from the monarchy. A constitutional review commission recommended Republican status for Barbados in 1998, and Miss Muttley's predecessor in office, Ferdinand Stewart, also argued for a move from the monarchical system to the Republican form of the government in the very near future. Barbados would not be the first British colony in the Caribbean to become a republic. Guyana took the step in 1970, less than 4 hours after gaining independence from Britain. Trinidad and Tobago followed suit in 1976 and Dominica in 1978. All three stayed within the Commonwealth, a loose association of former British colonies and current dependencies, along with some countries that have historical ties to Britain. It is quite unusual for a country to move the Queen as head of the state. The last to do so was the Mauritius in 1992. Other Caribbean countries like Dominica, Guyana, and Trinidad and Tobago became republics in the 1970s. Many of the 15 countries that are currently part of the Queen's realm seem to value the relationship it provides. 2 seconds, sorry, ladies and gents. Hello, hello, hi there. Oh, hi there. Yeah, you're fine, absolutely no problem. Yes, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, because I was getting legal. I'm getting legal aid 'cause I'm not working, not working at the moment. I've got it on my first one. I don't know if it's done automatically. I can't remember. She didn't say nothing. Oh, she did. Oh, I do it online, do I? Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't get the form. Is there any way I can get one sent out? Yes. Yeah. I've got an email. I've got nothing to print it out on. Is there a way you can post it to me, or is that? Yeah. Have you got my postal address, haven't you? Oh. Yeah, I can give it to you. So, do you want the postcode? Yes, Charlie Oscar 4, 9 Romeo Papa. Romeo Papa. Yeah. Number 9. Number 9. Yeah, okay, no, that's the one. That's okay. No, I haven't got. I'm after trying to get another off my mediation day. I can't just get over it, but I'll try again. Yeah, okay then. Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Bye. Thanks for coming back. Thank you. Bye. Sorry about that, ladies and gents. Sorry about that. The question where the decision was matched by others, Jamaica has in past suggested that this is the route it might follow. What is significant is that the Prime Minister of Barbados cast the decision and leaving a Connaught pass behind. In the context of Black Lives Matter movement, it will be interesting to see if it sparks wider political pressure on other Caribbean governments to go the same way. I mean, it's still people. We're still debating on this because I got involved in the debate a little bit. I like to because I feel the need to. I feel the pressure that I need to because there's a lot of fascism all over politics, regardless if it's an outside government trying to come in. And if this happens and the removal of the Queen as head of the state placed on par with, say, the removal of a statue of a slave trader, then that could pose difficult questions for both the British royal family and the Commonwealth. I think that, as a result to legal immigration, is that them weakening themselves up for this BLM? I don't know. Well, I mean, there's no answers for it. We do need to stop population regardless. All countries have got everyone else. You got to have a visa to get in there, so why not do the same? Simple, simple politics. It's like Italy. You go there and Frankfurt as well. You go there, you go to these places. They give you a COVID test there, and then 30 minutes later, you get either tested positive, tested negative. Not always correct, but you can always get. Sometimes they come back positive, and you can have another one that come back negative. At least they've got some sort of sense if you got COVID or not. Coronavirus. Wanda Sinon Tafgo to go into lockdown. A second county in Wales will go into lockdown because of the rate of coronavirus cases. The 2,400 people living in Munda Sinon Taff will have restrictions imposed on their daily lives. Before I go on, I just want to apologise for that phone call. If I get a phone call and withheld number, I usually have to answer it because it's obviously something very important. So I appreciate you guys, you know, not wasting time, just waiting for some good UK politics. For 18 BST on Thursday, people will not be able to enter or leave the area without reasonable excuse, such as travel for work or education. All licensed pubs, bars, and restaurants will have to shut at 11. every day. Once the lockdown comes into effect, rules allowing people to meet others from extending household indoors will be suspended in the country. I mean, you know what my views are on the pubs, kids in school. I mean, we did have pubs shut, didn't we, for a while? Why, why bother opening? You know, why, especially while kids at school. Health Minister Vaughan Gavin said there has been a rapid rise in cases with 82.1 infections per 100,000 people over the past 7 days. The latest equivalent figures across the world of Wales is 21.4 per 100,000. In the second lockdown in Wales, after Caerphilly was subject to restrictions last week. If you look at Wednesday's rate of positive tests for the past week in RCT was 5.1%, the highest in Wales. Mr Given previously warned a positive rate of 4% across Wales would trigger a national lockdown. Wales average is 2.4%. Figures on Wednesday showed RCT's case rate had almost caught up with the Caerphilly, which had 83.4 per 100,000 people over the past 7 days. The lockdown restrictions have been imposed despite people in the RCT having been asked to take extra precautions last week. Contact tracing teams have been able to trace about half the coronavirus cases in RCT back to a series of cluster within the borough. Mr. Given told a press conference, the rest are evidence of community transmission. One cluster is associated with a rugby club and a pub in Lower Rhondda Valley. Another is connected to a club out in the Doncaster races, which Mr. Given said stopped off to a series of pubs on the way. A view into lockdown will be held in 2 weeks' time. Under the lockdown rules, no one will be able to leave or enter the country without reasonable excuse. This list of excuses to travel is the same as the Caerphilly, including for essentials, food and medicine. For work, you cannot work from home, or for education, to obtain supplies for essential upkeep, maintenance and functioning of the household, to provide or receive emergency assistance, to meet a legal obligation, or to get access to public service. Motorists will be able to drive through the county borough, providing they do not stop. The rules are enforced by a system and a fixed penalty notice, which start at £60 to a maximum of 1,920 or unlimited fines in courts. But illegal immigrants can come over and do as they please. Yeah, there you go. So it's one more for one, 10 for another. Anyway, rules allowing people sick from the extended household in Wales will also not apply in RCT. Mr. Gibbons said residents were allowed to meet outdoors for the time being. Rhondda Labour MP Chris Bryant said, we need to stick to our rules and get the transmission rate down to protect the NHS and the most vulnerable. But Afghanistan legal immigrants can come on a rubber dinghy led by a French sailor. No problem. No COVID mask. Groups of 20, no problem. You're allowed in. Get put in a military barracks and you soon become legal in the US, in the UK, sorry. And we'll put you on universal credit come Monday. God bless. Leanne Wood played Sumu, Rhondda member of the Senate, MS. Said it was disappointing, but not a surprise. The sooner we get under control, the sooner we can ease restrictions and the safer our loved ones will be, she added. Pontypridd MP Alex Davies-Jones said, I know the news entitled coronavirus restrictions will be growing for people across Ponty, but I'm confident that this is the right approach in order to reduce the number of cases locally. Pubs to shut at night, but not close altogether. Difference in rules around pubs in RCT and a Caerphilly prompted question from the Welsh Conservative Health spokesman, Andrew R.T. Davies. Health Minister must explain the rationale behind this and give guidance across Wales to prevent other lockdowns. Mr Given said pubs were a factor of transmission in RCT, but had not been in Caerphilly. He said a series of bars and pubs will face closure and improvement notice in the area. A bar has been shut in Pontypridd after a series of breaches were captured on CCTV. A licensed premises was closed on the Tony Panley improvement notice for another bar in the Pontypridd. And the barbers in Tony Pandy were also issued. A further 50 licensed premises were visited by council officers over the weekend. Mr. Gibbons said, asked why he has not closed all pubs, Mr. Gibbons said, if there are no opportunities to drink in licensed premises, we may see more people breaking the rules and drinking in each other's homes. What do you make of that then, guys? What do you make of the fine? But, you know, is there any point having a rule book? You've got all the rules for the UK citizens, but legal immigrants can come in as many numbers they want and pretty much do as they please. Do you feel upset about it? Do you feel upset? Hello, Tony. This needs to get really noticed, but this needs to be publicised really badly because I don't know if I'm not, if I can see clear and straight. And I see Nigel Farage in the English Channel. Nigel Farage is doing a Watchtower's job. He's doing a police, what happened to the traffic police patrol in the sea, in the ocean? You know, I can't get over it. I can't get over immigration is still coming through. I'm not fascist in the slightest with my different ethnicities all over my family, but they need to stop legal immigration. It needs to be done. It needs to be sorted. Um, it's UK politics finest hour, but it's getting embarrassing, isn't it? It's getting embarrassing. We can't control our waters. We're trying to control our seas, fishing, but they can't control people coming through our ocean. My goodness, what are we going to do? What a mess up. Coronavirus. PM blames colossal spike in demand for test problems. Prime Minister Boris Johnson defended the coronavirus testing system, saying it is trying to meet a colossal spike in demand. It comes as the government said it is drawing up this list setting out who will be prioritised for tests. Like I said, I don't know why we don't get like what the Italians have got at their airports. The Italians have got them swab tests that were the same, but they're supposed to be more accurate than the ones that we're hearing about with the professors, the scientists. They're supposed to be more accurate. So why haven't we got them already? I mean, Boris is the man in the know. He should be having a look into it perhaps. And Antwerp as well. They've got them there. Care home resident and staff are likely to be near the top of the list, as Mr Johnson acknowledged ministers were concerned about infection rates. Uh, I thought, yeah, care home residents. I thought NHS as well because they're putting their own lives at risk looking after others. You'd think so, wouldn't you? The PM told MPs a new action plan for care homes will be released this week. Earlier Justice Secretary Robert Buckland said schools could be considered for priority testing. Mr Johnson said 89% of those who have in-person tests get them the next day. He told Prime Minister questions on Wednesday. I think most are looking at this record of the country in delivering tests across the nation. We will see that it actually compares extremely well with any other European country. The PM had promised that all in-person test results will be back within 24 hours by the end of June. He acknowledged the frustration around demand for tests, but said capacity were being increased, with the government wanting 500,000 tests a day by the end of October. Mr Johnson admitted, we are concerned about the rates of infection in care homes and promised a new action plan for the sector would be released this week. Labour's deputy leader, Angela Rayner, was standing in for Sir Keir Starmer in the P&Qs as Sir Keir was self-isolating due to family members showing symptoms and awaiting for results of tests, which has since been returned as negative. She's been itching to get in. The deputy's been itching. I think they had Milban in yesterday and she had a face up on that because she was supposed to be standing in for him. But I think today she's been in the P&Qs with Boris. I think it's still going ahead, but there's no point watching it when if you're watching me, there's no point watching it because I'm giving you some of what's been said and my own added front bench politics, which I've seen with Nigel Farage and so on. She told Miss MPs Mr Johnson needed to get some skates on address to the issues. Those care workers are still not getting the PPE they need, are still not getting the tests they need, she said. Miss Rayner also said the Prime Minister had time and again made pledges on testing, but then breaks those promises. They've had 6 months to get this right, and yet the Prime Minister still can't deliver on the promises, she said. I mean, as she knows, as a politician, we can all say stuff, but then it's everyone that behind us got to help it go through. You know, it's to help get the funding for it as well. Like you said, it's going to cost 3/4 of the NHS his budget for the year. So he's not just going to put it out of his pocket. It's got to come all through the legislation, hasn't it? And people, people below prime ministers, it doesn't matter which side of the fence or politics you are, if it's Labour, SNP, you've got to get the money come from somewhere. It doesn't come out of the prime minister's back pocket. The health secretary said yesterday it would take weeks to sort the situation out. We don't have weeks. Earlier Justice Secretary Robert Buckland told BBC Breakfast that plans to put the NHS top of the list for coronavirus tests will be published in the coming days. So obviously, it's all about getting hold of contacts, the people in charge. Boris is in charge to an extent to make it priority and then get in contact with the NHS authorities, I should imagine. People in care homes would also be priority, while schools could be considered. Robert Buckland said. He also said testing centres would be increasing from about 400 to 500 in the next few weeks. Elsewhere, Education Secretary Gavin Williamson said each school could, from today or order more testing kits, having each given 10 at the start of the term. I mean, like I said, guys, ladies and gents, listening, you can order a COVID test kit from the COVID Test NHS website. Google it, order your test kit. I still got mine. I haven't used it. I feel amicable. I feel so. I feel great. I'm enjoying politics. I've been doing politics since 6 a.m. Obviously studying my PhD, and I'm furthering my politics with modern day politics, just for fun, just for fun, just because I enjoy it. I want to give people a bit of a story of my own, a verb as well, not just to what's in front of me around us. I'm watching it. I'm watching, listening to LBC. I'm taking notes of all over the shop. I follow all the UK politics pages on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And there's videos. I see videos 9 to 5 this morning on the English channel, like I was saying. Elsewhere, Education Secretary Gavin Williamson said each school could, from today, order more testing kits, having been given 10 from the start of the term, which is causing a delay. A surge on demand for coronavirus tests had been led to local shortages, with many people reporting problems securing online bookings and being directed to test sites hundreds of miles from home. Would you trust Nigel Farage as a Prime Minister? Ex-alcoholic. Is he still drinking? We don't know. He seems to be doing something courageous in the seat at the moment. Usually, he's not so courageous, as we know. On the motorway, you see the lad crash his car in his middle 30s with his son in the back, and Nigel Farage right next to him. This crash right in front of him, and Nigel Farage drove off rather than pull over and see if he's right, and his son. He pulled off like a coward. So he's not as courageous as he looks today. The Large Lighthouse Laboratories, run by the government to analyse test swabs from all the UK nations, have been under strain to process them all. Test slots are limited because, while there seem to be enough testing sites, there are bottlenecks in labs for processing swabs. BBC Health editor Rupin said, a new lab is due to be up and running, but that could be in a few weeks away. Until then, ministers say common problems are likely to continue. Bolton NHS Trust in Greater Manchester said more than 100 people had turned up to the incident emergency on Tuesday asking for a test. Data on backlogs in labs is not publicly available to health, but Health Secretary Matt Hancock told the Commons on Tuesday it is less than a day's capacity. That means it could be anywhere up to 244,000. The Department of Health, Mr. Matt Hancock, has said about a quarter of these people requesting tests have no need to do so, and only those with relevant symptoms should book. I mean, I've booked my test because I am high risk, but I'm a high risk, but I'm not because I don't go anywhere. I stay in. The only time I'll go away if I need to go shop. I don't really go anywhere. I was invited to a big gathering tomorrow. It is in groups of 6, but 2 separate caravans, and people, they're friends having a drink. But I don't drink, so there's no point in going there. I don't want to be around it. I don't like the smell of it. What problems are schools facing? Some schools, for a period of days, reopen, whilst others have told classes and whole year groups, many of which form one bubble, to self-isolate for 2 weeks following confirmed cases. Teaching unions have called for education sector to be prioritised for the allocation of tests to ensure schools remain open. The Association of School and College Leaders (ASCL) said the issues with testing capacity were not fixed, keeping schools open become unsustainable. Tell you what, guys, we had some of this conversation yesterday. We had some of this conversation yesterday. Not all of it, but some of it. Please share and subscribe, guys. You know, so when you want to build a great radio quite smoothly, I've been on there. I've been on YouTube for 2 years now, almost. Come January, it's 2 years. But you know, failing that before, I had my own radio channel before. My box in 2015, I started doing a bit of journalism because I've done media since 1995, and I've always tried to keep up with Plan A. Well, Plan A was actually professional football when I was a kid, but I didn't quite make it. But we always all try these activist things and try and get through with what try and use your academic integrity as well at the same time. And try and fight through life, trying to make it in one direction. Boris Johnson seeks to head off Brexit rebellion. Boris Johnson has reached a deal with potential Tory rebels over a bill to rewrite the EU withdrawal agreement. BBC understands. I mean, if the EU get their own way, Mr. Trump is going to put his all in. And if we get part of what the EU want us to get is their chlorinated meat, you can stick that in your child. More than 30 Tory MPs were expected to vote for an amendment to the internal market bill next week. If passed, Sir Bob Neill's amendment would have been given MPs the final say over changes to the withdrawal agreement. I suppose the chlorinated meat is like some of these really extreme Christians eating. Oh, I can't eat halal meat, but I'd eat halal meat. Doesn't bother me. Because even on Christian, doesn't bother me at all in the slightest. Doesn't to me. Meat is meat, but if I see someone eating halal and it's not hurting them, it's not going to hurt me. So I see it. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. Meat is meat. If I'm hungry, I'm going to eat it. The PM has now promised to give MPs an extra layer of parliamentary oversight, if is understood. BBC political editor Laura Kuenberg said the hope from the ministers is that this will prevent rebellion next week. UK internal market bill cleared its first hurdle in the Commons on Monday. The bill set out changes to withdraw deal Boris Johnson signed with the EU in January. Specific and limited. Mr Johnson said it is needed to protect the territorial integrity of the UK if trade talks with the EU fail. But it has provoked a backlash from the EU, which has threatened legal action and it is possible suspension of trade talks if it is unknown, not withdrawn. Northern Ireland Secretary Brandon Lewis last week admitted, in response to a Commons question for Tory MP Sir Bob Neill, the bill would break international law in a specific and limited way. His word prompted the resignation of senior government law officer and condemnation from all 5 living former prime ministers who have warned that it threatens the UK's reputation for upholding treaties and international laws. A number of Tory MPs abstained or voted against the bill on Monday, and many of them were expected to back Sir Bob Neill's amendment next week. Legal safety net. Writing in the iPaper, Sir Bob said the amendment seeks to put parliamentary lock on the powers of the government seeking to give itself. I mean, do you reckon this could be like a Nelson Mandela when all these political MPs and prime ministers get put in jail? It's sounding a bit ludicrous, if you ask me. It's what I'm saying. I don't know about. I mean, the Article 51 was going through to start off with, and now they're trying to say a few amendments they could be getting sued. Had it taken sledgehammer to the entire bill would be the wrong approach. It is a great deal of good in it, with 51 of its 54 clauses clearly innocuous for the large majority. However, the gravity of the 3 remaining clauses require, at the very latest, additional checks and balances. My amendment would ensure further parliamentary approach is secure before the government change can discharge him. Speaking of Mr. Johnson, official spokesman, said the PM and his team are in conversations with MPs about the bill and the importance of creating legal safety nets. He confirmed that the Prime Minister has spoken to Sir Bob and said conversation with MPs will continue. I mean, people can mock politics, you know, people's choice, people's views. The Prime Minister is there for a reason. Experience, legacy he's left before, whoever it is. When we had Tony Blair, we had John Major. You know, we can easily call someone fascist. I call Tony Blair for fascist for leaving the country. We can do that, you know. If you had a fight and then 10 blokes turn up, you're gonna leg it, aren't you? That's exactly what Tony Blair done. But on a serious note, all the mocking aside of different parties, that's what we do. I support our football teams. You can put down Tottenham, but yeah, we do things like that, don't we? It's just a way of thinking. But all jokes aside, it's a hard job in there. You know, it's in the eyes of thousands. It's a hard job, and with Article 51 wasn't quite plain sailing from day dot really. Things getting tried. We was leaving Northern Ireland out. That's going to cause a ruckus, isn't it? The Five Nations. Where that leave the Five Nations rugby? They're going to feel like they don't want to participate. Surely. What is the Internal Market Bill? The bill sets out rules for the operation of the UK internal market, trade between England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland after the end of Brexit transition period in January. It proposes no new checks on goods moving from Northern Ireland to the rest of Great Britain. Giving UK ministers powers to modify or display rules relating to the movement of goods that will come into force on 1st of January if the UK and EU are unable to reach an alternative agreement through a trade deal. Powers to override previously agreed obligations on state aid, government support for businesses. The bill explicitly states that these powers should apply even if they are incompatible with international law. Ministers say the legislation is needed to prevent damaging tariffs on goods travelling from the rest of the UK, Northern Ireland, if negotiations with the EU on free trade agreement fail. But senior Conservatives, including former Prime Minister John Major, have warned risks in undermining the UK's reputation as an upholder of international law. The legislation has also proved controversial with the devolved administrations, which are concerned about the UK's internal market will operate post-Brexit and who will set regulations and standards. I mean, I'm on the social world, studying the social world now, ladies and gents. Um, yeah, it's precisely, Tony, precisely, buddy. Yeah, it's just maths, you know. It's like you say. You're going to social world. We're looking at social change. I mean, social change for everyone. We have social change from a young age growing up. We're talking about social change now. We've got pandemic lockdown, COVID-19. Young family. I haven't bought my first house yet, as far as I know. I haven't bought my first house, so trying to get on the mortgage market. Hyperinflation. I reckon hyperinflation with this absolute public austerity. Globalization. It's globalization austerity, not just a public austerity. Globalization austerity. Um, the market to get a house value, to get a mortgage. It's almost becoming impossible for younger generation. I'm not younger generation anymore. I'm in my peak of age. Am I ever going to have my own house? Am I going to get my mortgage? I need a big philosophical change. I need economic change. I need an economic big check from the front door. You listen to LBC, some of their presenters. Everyone makes mistakes. I've heard James O'Brien make many. You hear a lot of them make mistakes, wrong figures, wrong answers to simple questions from a university student calling in, and they get the answer questions, give them an answer. I was trying to call in the other day, but I won't. They don't answer. As soon as they hear it's me, they hang up the phone because I think they think I'm going to tackle their presenters. I'm not there to discriminate, but I'm trying to be there to build their, well, not build their intelligence, help run their show smoothly. So maybe they might give me a bit of support and a bit of acknowledgement. But as soon as I went through yesterday, I was going to ask him what was the difference between international law, Brexit, and the WTO. WTO, it's got to be World Trading Organisation, I reckon. But yeah, that's what's your thoughts on the housing market? Is the housing price can go up? Maybe you own your own house, your listeners in, you own your own house. You and your family want sociological change for maybe your work, or more to the point, your children. Say your children go to a suburban where you bought your first house, still your family house. You bought your house in a suburban area. Schools around there are rough for your children. You want to move to a more built up area, more of a business plan kind of area where the schools are better, youth clubs are better, sporting industry is better. You want to move. That's sociological change. You want to better your surroundings. You want to broaden your horizon for you, your kids. I mean, me growing up, I'm my young sister and my brother. We was in a nice little village when I was younger, and then we moved to Clacton. It was in a nice road actually, but it's built. Our house is built right on the edge of the suburban of Clacton, the Metropolitan Lunatic Asylum. There's a lot of kids there, very very naughty. They're adults. Their parents are, you know, parent doesn't not all my friends' parents are naughty, but some parents with kids around the area were under influence of narcotics and alcohol. So if you imagine ASBO, the ASBO kids, yeah, was brought up around a bit of a bad society. If you got mingled in, got pulled under. But luckily, I had a good head on my shoulders, got into sport at a young age. But it's sometimes change can change your way of thinking, change your way of life, better yourself. I mean, I moved to Hertfordshire last year, really got my head down, broadened my horizon, and it is the reason why I'm here today. Some people think, I don't know, probably think I've got this lovely aristocracy life. In a hindsight, without the economic money, yeah, I have. I live off the complete ascetics of life. I enjoy every day as it comes. I enjoy the highs and lows of life. Literally through the ascetics. I wake up in the morning, the sun's out, I'm in a good mood. I go sleep at night when it's dark and I'm tired, I'm in a good mood. If I burn the candle at both ends, sit on social media, reading politics, arguing politics. We all argue the politics, don't we? Argue our taste of politician and whatever. Um, that's just what you do. We do it in football, we do it in politics, we do it in TV programs, we do it on Big Brother. You root for your favourite person on Big Brother. You do it on what else do you do it on? Britain's Got Talent. It's just the way things are. Anyway, ladies and gents, it's been a great cast. I really hope you're well. I'm gonna keep on my Castbox guy. I don't know if you guys on YouTube are following my Castbox also. Guys on YouTube, I'm off. Thank you, Tony. I really appreciate you coming through. It's nice to see new people. Hi, Purple Panda. I'm just coming through. Speak soon, everyone on YouTube. I'll catch you soon. Take care. God bless. Hi, Purple Panda. What you been up to, girl? You're good? I had a little stream earlier, and